Okay, I have one more little tidbit here, and what I wanted to do is kind of give you a tour of the office and point out some things like the theme of something that someone else can maybe latch on to, maybe not, but we're going to try. So just walk with me, and I'm going to take you around the office. As you enter, to the right, there's two sets of restrooms, one in the front, one in the back. There's a water fountain that doesn't work, never has. And we have a couple of restrooms. We have the front desk area. This used to be a medical office, so we didn't have to do a lot of work up here. One thing we do have, we try to order these Dave Ramsey books. We're an ELP, endorsed local provider, so what we have is, we had a case of them, so we've given a lot of them away, so we have about 6 or 7 left, but it's something like we like to have put on display, and I think it helps a lot. You notice this, payment due at time of service. So another thing, here's our waiting room. We line this up, we pack a lot of people in here. The one thing I will mention that's unique or fairly, I would suggest, is we have a mail slot. That helps with when you're dealing with people that are kind of born procrastinators. They can't use an excuse of, oh, you're closed, because we harp on everybody that there's a mail slot. So that's something that I would point out. We have a lot of different things going on here. We have sailboats, we have Mr. Sharp in a KISS outfit, we have Norman Rockwell, we have animals, but it's us, and that's all it is. So moving on here, we have, like I said, this used to be a medical office. So a lot of the rooms are very small. So this is Mr. Sharp's office here. His is in the front. So basically, one thing I want to point out here is there's a pass-through window, and the other side of that window is my office. So maybe you'll have a little bit more compassion for me now. I have to deal with that every day. So there's a pass-through window. It actually helps out quite a bit. We work together a lot. So here's my office. This is kind of the standard size office. We have the second, the additional monitor, which we're trying to have set up with everyone. Just standard. We have the tax repair printer, and it's kind of clean now, so that's good. Moving on, one thing we do have that's another thing I'll mention as a little tidbit is we have sensor lighting, like at the frozen food aisle of the grocery store. So if somebody doesn't walk, basically if nobody's using this area, the lights shut off and then they turn back on as you walk by. So thought it was a little unique. So right now I'll just basically walk you through. There's the lights kicking on there, if you can see that. So if you walk through, basically a lot of the offices are the same size. It works out well for us. All we really had to do when we moved in here was basically paint, and that's it. So the offices, that is. And then we'll keep moving here. We have one of these on display, and this is something that we like. We don't use shredders or anything. We just put it in the box, call a company, they wheel it out, and it's certified. They give you a cute little certificate and everything, but it's something that's, I think to get one of these shredded, it costs us about a little under $30, so it's a good deal. I'll show you our kitchen area. It's pretty standard, no frills. We do have a little sensor in here as well, so if no one's in here, the lights shut off automatically, but we have the coffee, fridge. We stock the fridge and have goodies during tax season especially. So that's our beautiful kitchen area. This is Joe's office back here, and next to his office is kind of our where we store our toner and where the server is. So it's kind of like I said, this used to be a dentist's office, so it has this used to be the radiology area. You come back here, press the button, and also if all the door here is lined, so some of that stuff we kept. Here's other bathrooms. So for example, another thing we kept is that's where you slide your sample through. We don't use that too often these days, but that's what we have here. Another thing I like to point out that's unique, is this is a new printer we have. I believe Joe clarified for me. He's at the meeting here, but I believe we got this for $600 delivered to our door. So I think the shipping was about 50% of the cost, but we got this on eBay. So it's something that I would suggest rather than plunking down. We do have another printer which we lease, but this is kind of for payroll standard workhorse printer. So moving on, here's a room. This is a room that we have for the auditors. And also for, that's what's used for in the summertime, but it's also a tax repair office, so we try to just turn on those lamps and not have any overhead lighting. Here is the back door. So we have the back door, and then that's where we have a break area. I was going to show you the back door, but there's a bum sitting on our park bench, so I'm not going to do that right now. So basically, this is Mrs. Sharp's office. She's a catalyst, truly, so she does all the e-filing. What I'd like to, as a part of the tour, what I'd like to point out is one question is how you handle drop-offs. So what we do is, even if it's a drop-off for me, if for Mr. Sharp, for Deborah, for whoever, Mrs. Sharp is kind of the inventory taker. She knows where the tax return's at and everything at all times. So, so that's that. So here's the storeroom. If we have an audit, if we have old backup information, we keep that. This door is always closed, but I left it open to show you guys. We have all the baker's boxes in here. We also have an attic. Here's a conference room. It looks nice. We have the monitor. It's very open. I hate this room, but it's okay. It does a decent job, but I just want to have a little private area for a conference room. Then we have one more office, and that's it's kind of messy now. It's a little utility area during the year-round season. Now, other thing I'll point out is here are our filing cabinets. These are about 80% empty. The only thing we're using these for basically is to put paper on top of. So, so that's what they're used for basically. I haven't opened one in a year or so. The last thing I'll mention, a couple of last things I'll mention is this is their heavy-duty printer that we lease. One thing that we'll do with a couple buttons is that we'll have a